One of the greatest scientific missions of modern times has taken a giant leap forward today.
The most distant human-made object in the universe is sending usable information to Earth again.
A NASA spacecraft is set to make history today, getting closer to the Sun than any other human-made object.
What if I told you that the satellite internet you're using right now started with a giant balloon floating in space? In 1960, when most people had never even seen a computer, NASA launched something so simple yet revolutionary that it changed everything about how we communicate. In this video, I'll show you how Project Echo, a shiny balloon the size of a 10-story building, became the grandfather of every satellite above us today. But first, you need to understand why the world was desperate enough to try bouncing radio signals off a balloon in space. Picture this. It's 1960. The Cold War is at its peak. Sputnik shocked the world 3 years earlier, and America is scrambling to prove it can compete in space. But here's what most people don't realize. The real problem wasn't just national pride. Global communication was a nightmare. Undersea cables could be cut by enemy submarines or even shark bites. Yes, that actually happened. Shortwave radio was unreliable, bouncing unpredictably off the atmosphere. The military needed secure, instant communication across continents, and traditional methods were failing. So NASA had a crazy idea. What if instead of hoping radio waves would bounce off the unpredictable atmosphere, they bounced off something they controlled in space? Enter William O'Sullivan from NACA, NASA's predecessor. He was working on measuring atmospheric drag with inflatable balloons when he had an epiphany. If you could make the balloon big enough and shiny enough, it could reflect radio signals from one side of Earth to the other. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't just about proving a concept. The same technology that could bounce your phone call could also legitimize satellite overflight for other purposes. Reconnaissance satellites were already in development, and Echo would provide the perfect legal precedent. On August 12, 1960, Echo 1 launched. Within hours, President Eisenhower's voice traveled from California to New Jersey via a balloon in space. But that was just the beginning. Echo 1 was so massive and reflective that millions of people could see it with their naked eyes, a rapidly moving star crossing the evening sky. Newspapers published viewing schedules, families gathered on rooftops. For the first time, space technology wasn't just for scientists, it was a public spectacle. Here's what changed everything. Echo wasn't just the first communication satellite, it was the proof that space could be used for peaceful purposes, while simultaneously advancing military capabilities. It was diplomatic genius disguised as a science experiment. Within 2 years of Echo's success, we had Telstar beaming live TV across the Atlantic. By 1964, Syncom achieved the first geostationary orbit. The entire modern satellite industry exploded into existence because Echo proved one simple thing: you could reliably bounce signals off something in space. Every GPS navigation, every satellite internet connection, every weather forecast you've ever received exists because of lessons learned from a balloon that stayed in orbit for 8 years. Echo didn't just enable communication, it enabled the entire space economy. Today, SpaceX launches 60 satellites at a time. We have over 7,500 Starlink satellites providing internet globally. But they all trace back to that first satelloon that proved space-based communication was possible. The next time you use a GPS, stream a video, or check the weather, remember you're using technology that started with engineers brave enough to try bouncing radio waves off a giant balloon. That's the power of simple ideas executed brilliantly. If this story of space innovation fascinated you, drop a comment. What modern technology do you think will seem as quaint as Echo's balloon design in 60 years? And if you want more stories of tech that changed everything, subscribe and hit the bell. Trust me, the rabbit hole of space technology gets much deeper.